Hello everyone and welcome once again to The View from the Midwest. It's time for another Bleedin' Blue check of the NHL Central, one of our last of the regular season. We do have one more week left in the regular season, and then it's the all-important playoff time, and there's going to be plenty of NHL Central teams involved in that. So let's get rolling right away. The Dallas Stars went 3-1 this week and have sole possession of first place in the division now. They got a 5-2 win at home against Nashville on Tuesday, kept the hot streak going with another win on Thursday, a 4-1 win over Arizona, edged out Los Angeles 3-2 on the road on Saturday, but the number of games caught up to them in the week, and they ended their week on Sunday with a 3-1 loss at Anaheim. Chicago lost a game to open the week, dropping a 4-1 affair in Minnesota, but fared very well after that. The team, especially the offense, ended up rebounding. They had an overtime thriller in Winnipeg, which they won by the score of 5-4, and then held on for a 6-4 victory on national television over the Boston Bruins, a game that they had a 6-0 lead. So obviously the goaltending with Scott Darling wasn't necessarily up to par. The defense had a few cracks. Boston, obviously fighting for their playoff lives, managed to come back, but unfortunately for the Blues, Boston could not replicate the effort that they put forth in defeating St. Louis and ended up losing to Chicago. The Nashville Predators had an absolutely terrible week, most likely costing them any chance at sneaking that into that third spot in the division. They lost all 4 games, and they started off by dropping a 4-3 go-around at home against Colorado. Then they lost 5-2 in Dallas on Tuesday, traveling all the way to Pittsburgh to lose by the same score, and then finally coming home on Saturday to lose 3-2 to the San Jose Sharks. The Minnesota Wild had a pretty bad week as well. They also went 1-3, and instead of sewing up that final wild card spot, they've left open a little bit of wiggle room for the Colorado Avalanche. As I mentioned, the Wild went 1-3. They started things off fairly well with a 4-1 win over Chicago that we already talked about. However, they then lost 2 games by the score of 3-2. The first was on Thursday at home against Ottawa, and then the next was on the road on Friday against the Detroit Red Wings. The Wild then capped off the week with a rather embarrassing 5-1 loss to the Winnipeg Jets, who suddenly sprang to life offensively. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you support, the Colorado Avalanche were unable to take care of their own business, and thus were unable to really take advantage of the Minnesota Wild dropping so many points and the Wild slipping up. The Avalanche went 1-3 on the week as well, so they gained absolutely no ground. They beat the Preds to open the week on the road 4-3. Then they lost to the Blues 3-1 in St. Louis, 4-2 at home against Washington, and lost 5-1 at home against the St. Louis Blues. The Winnipeg Jets also went 1-3 on the week. They started things off on the road in Philadelphia, where they lost 3-2 before coming home for 3 straight. They lost 2-1 on Wednesday against Ottawa, 5-4 against Chicago on Friday, and then won against Minnesota 5-1 to end things up. So let's take a look at the standings right now. Having played 80 games, the Dallas Stars, and this is of course up to date as of Monday, April 4th. The Dallas Stars have played 80 games, and they are 48-23-9 with 105 points. The Blues have played 79. They have 103 points at 47-23-9. The Blackhawks have also played 79 games. They are 46-26-7 for 99 points. Behind them are the Nashville Predators, who have also played 79 games. They have 92 points. And basically they're almost locked into that 4th spot, which will be the top wildcard team. They are 39-26-14. Behind them, the Wild have played 80 games, so they only have 2 games left to really kind of try to sew things up. They have 87 points, so they've pretty much all but done it, but mathematically there is still a chance for them to drop out. They are 38-31-11. Colorado still technically alive with 82 points. They have played 79 games, so they have 3 left coming up this week. 39-36-4 is their record, also having played 79 games. Numbers are kind of rattling off in my head. 32-39-8 for the Winnipeg Jets for 72 points. Looking at things for the rest of the week, Colorado has to keep their slim hopes alive with road games against Nashville and Dallas. Some of the other division matchups: Nashville takes on Colorado and Dallas, and the Blues take on Chicago on Thursday with a potential home ice advantage on the line. So that'll wrap it up for our weekly review on the NHL Central. Comment, rate, and subscribe. This has been The View from the Midwest, the Bleeding Blue NHL Central recap. Hope you enjoyed it. But until the next time, I'll see you then.